Good morning. Today is February 20th, 2025. My name is David Merriman, and I'm going to call to order the Cuyahoga County Equity Commission meeting. Welcome. Thank you for being here today. We have an agenda. It's been posted. We're going to begin with just a call to order and a roll call. We have some staff representing the various departments, and so what I'm just going to do is I'll go down the line and I'll call out the department and just to confirm who's representing the departments. And so here on behalf of the Department of Development.
Today, Paul Hertig, Director, and Vaughn Johnson, Alternate.
Wonderful. Here on behalf of the Department of Public Safety.
Jill Smilak.
Great, thank you. Here on behalf of the Department of Human Resources.
Sarah Nemistel.
All right, and then here on behalf of the Department of Equity and Inclusion.
Good morning, Lenora Lockett. We also had a team, Vince Horvath, he's new to the county Department of Equity and Inclusion, Jamela Murdoch, and Shauna Slayton. They're all contract compliance officers with our department.
Great, I know we also have a representative here from the Law Department.
Right, hi, Alata Fassad. Good morning, everyone.
All right.
Good morning.
Good morning. And again, I am the chair, David Merriman. I'm here on behalf of the Department of Health and Human Services. Any other guests that we want to acknowledge? Great.
We have guests this morning from the Pinwheel Group. They'll be talking to us. They're our newest capital partner in the Department of Development, and they'll be talking to us about their programs to support M and WBE businesses.
And we have presenting virtually Madeline Rice with College Now.
Okay. Welcome. So we will begin with review and approval of the minutes. The minutes have been distributed. Are there any amendments to the minutes? Okay. Hearing none, can I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve.
A second?
Second.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
Minutes are approved. We're going to move now to public comment. Has anybody signed in for public comment?
No public comment.
Thank you. So we will now move to opening remarks by Equity Commission members. I'm going to begin with Paul.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Vaughn has done a terrific job of representing the Department of Development. Vaughn will continue to do that. But given everything that's going on in the country these days, I felt it was important to show up today and just state that the Department of Development remains firmly committed to working towards equity.
Okay. I have a couple of updates I want to share. The committee may recall the last few meetings that I've been at. I've been tell you about the work that we're doing with minority business enterprise developers. And I've shared that a couple different times, so I want to give an outcome this time. I'm really excited that I believe for the first time in many, many years, maybe even a decade, we have a project in process that was approved by our CCCIC for a minority developer on a mixed-use project that's about $9 million. So this is the very, very first one I know in my tenure at the county and in my staff's tenure as well. So I was really excited to share that, and we'll continue to work with MBE developers and bringing them forward and hopefully partnering with them and collaborating with them on their projects. The other update I have that I wanted to share is the last time I was here, I talked about how many small businesses, primarily MBEs and WBEs, the Office of Small Businesses, work with. So from May of 2024 to the end of December, we finished right around 700 small businesses that we work with, and about 75% of those are MBEs and WBEs. The majority of those businesses are seeking technical assistance. But I just learned over the last few days some of the outcomes through our capital partners. I'm pleased to share that 10 businesses through our capital partners have all been approved for small business loans. So that is the goal of what the Office of Small Businesses is trying to do. And like I said, I'm very happy to report that these MBEs are receiving the funding that they need. So those are a couple of updates I wanted to share from the last meeting, and I hope to have more in future meetings. Thank you.
Thanks, Paul and Vaughn. Are there any questions for Paul or Vaughn? Jill.
Thank you. We at Public Safety share that same commitment and resolve to keep doing what we're doing. There are some concerning developments, of course, with funds and things that have been kind of turned off with the Office on Violence Against Women and with FEMA. But we are continuing to work towards all of our goals programmatically. We have seen an increased need for interpreters across all of our programs, which I think is interesting in this particular political climate. So we've had significant increases both in witness victim with walk-in clients as well as at our diversion center. Just in the last 2 months, just a huge increase, like thousands of dollars worth of interpretation, which I'm glad we're able to support those needs, but we'll continue to watch trends as they happen. And then just the only programmatic report I wanted to give is our long planned, and I know I've talked about it a lot, but our diversity program with the public safety careers that are available to young people coming out of high school educational or vocational programs as well as college. So we do have a program officer on board now, and he has really taken this program and he's run with it. So we've had the opportunity to meet with members of Sarah's team, with HR, IT folks regarding a website. We've met with the Deputy Chief of Staff. We've got buy-in across the board, so we are moving forward. And he's been working with each vocational program throughout the community to kind of gauge their needs and what they're seeing. And we have the beginnings of a website that is at least sketched out that they are now reviewing with their students, actually, to kind of see, like, is this something that's helpful to you? Is this something that's going to help you remain in the field as you transition out of high school? So we are moving forward on that. Very exciting.
Great.
Thank you.
Any questions for Jill? I'll go next, and then we'll keep it going down the line to turn the meeting over to Lenora after her presentation. So 2 announcements that I want to point to. Number 1, last year was a very difficult year for SNAP skimming. I don't know that this is broadly understood as an issue, but over the past several years, there have been just increased exposure to individuals that receive SNAP, Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, some people still refer to it as food stamps, where their card information is stolen, and historically that was at the point of sale. There was a device that could steal a person's numbers as well as their PIN. Increasingly, that theft is occurring by what we believe is organized crime, that people's cards are being, in essence, robotically scammed. And what has occurred has been just organizations bombarding the federal systems with potential card numbers and potential PINs to be able to take people's SNAP balances. I think through last year into the month of December, I believe we had 6,000 cases where their families' income had been stolen by criminals. In the first 2 weeks of December, we had 1,000. And so this has led to millions of dollars in stolen resources from residents. Unfortunately, the fix has to occur at the state and federal level. There has been no interest in either part to significantly increase. And until through December of 20, we did have the ability to replace individuals' income when stolen. That's no longer the case. So when someone's income is stolen, it is gone. Their SNAP is gone forever. That is it's doubly disruptive. I think many people fully utilize their SNAP when they get it, and what the way that the behavior is going now, organized crime is in essence using bots to try to find out as soon as someone's cards have been loaded up, and then they take the entirety of the money. Many people actually try to save a little bit of SNAP for a rainy day, but those are all being swept away now as well. And we know this is a disproportionately impacted communities that are otherwise marginalized. And so this is something we're talking a lot about. We're in the community. We've been engaging the media. I bring it up at this meeting because I do think as it has that disproportionate impact, it's something that needs to be a priority. It needs to be addressed at the federal and at the state level. And until that happens, we are simply being defensive. And I just draw folks' attention to it. It will have a significant impact and on the residents that we serve. So it's a tough one. Second thing I do want to be able to just acknowledge, last year I had a number of organizations approach me asking for assistance to try to understand how they could become involved with contracting and programming with the county. Under most of those circumstances, the individuals that approached me asking for assistance were former foster care youth that had aged out, that had become adults. Many of them had created businesses, some of them therapeutic, some of them just supportive services. I just want to acknowledge how much I appreciated being able to direct them to Lenora and her team to understand what it means to do business with the county as well as Vaughn, and to what it means to be able to start a small business. Again, I feel this is a group that is, it's a special group for me. Someone that has, in essence, been taken from their family, that has been raised in the county, sometimes through an adoption, sometimes through foster care, and sometimes on their own. They age out as independent adults without anybody to care for them. For them to create a business is something that we should be proud of. I'm grateful for that small business resource and referral. I know several have looked at it and have been very excited. I'm also grateful for a navigator to be able to say, if you don't come from a family or a community that gives you the support on how to navigate the county, here's an orientation, here's a resource. And it's very meaningful to me, very meaningful to them. So I want to thank you both for the work you're doing.
Wow.
Any questions? All right, down the line, I'll go to Sarah.
Good morning, Sarah Nussel, Director of the Department of Human Resources. Happy to be here today and very happy that we have guests from Penwell and College Now to speak with us this morning. Some updates from the department. I want to talk a little bit about our pay equity initiative. So in late 2023, Human Resources did engage a consultant to conduct a pay equity study for our non-bargaining classified employees. And pleased to report that the consultant did complete their study and recommended pay adjustments toward the end of last year, 2024. And those pay adjustments were implemented before year end in 2024. So we're making progress there and happy to report that. Sort of the next step in our initiative is we are reviewing pay for unclassified employees, but also we've contracted with a vendor to help HR sort of reset its compensation philosophy going forward, and our policies and processes we use to set pay to make sure that our compensation decisions are made in a fair, equitable, and transparent manner. Particularly where employees might not agree with, what their pay is set at, but at least understand how their pay was set and the factors that were taken into consideration. So we're, moving forward with that. Also, our tuition reimbursement program, we've been continuing to strive to increase participation over the past year. And one of the major initiatives we did was streamlining the process and automating the process so employees could apply for tuition assistance and go through the approval process through OnBase, our online platform, to make it as simple as possible. The old process was a lot of paper, not necessarily efficient. And so we did complete that process with our partners in Department of Information Technology, and the tuition assistance webpage via the intranet is now live, so employees can take advantage of that automated process. So we're excited about that. We're going to continue our civility training initiatives in 2025, so offering the civil treatment classes for employees. And we are also encouraging some mentoring initiatives for staff. So I'm very excited to hear from Madeline from College Now this morning, but Human Resources has recognized that it's important for employees to understand the communities that we serve in order to make the greatest impact in the community, but also realizing that mentoring is just beneficial at all levels, and it's also a great opportunity for employees to give back, but also develop their leadership skills and professionalism skills. So we have been collaborating with Director Lockett and her team to encourage to our employees to take advantage of the College Down Mentoring Program, and also the True to You Mentoring Program, which helps CMSD 8th graders prepare for high school and path to college onward. So we're excited about that, and looking forward to hearing from Madeline this morning.
Any questions for Sarah? I just want to say I've gotten feedback recently that we are increasingly utilizing the tuition assistance program in DHHS. I've talked to at least one staff that has expressed great appreciation for that program to be available. They've said it was meaningful to them to have some resources to be able to advance their education. So I know there was a slow, it was kind of a slower uptake because, you know, when it was launched when it was, but I think it is really picking up steam, and I think it's great that we have it.
I agree.
Lenore?
All right, thank you. Welcome, everyone. This is our first time getting together in 2025, so it's always great to hear the announcements and remarks that you're sharing about the work you're doing in your area. I just want to say, similar to everyone else, we're continuing with our work, and our work is to make sure we improve the culture with the county, continue to improve it. We want to make sure that we are increasing our utilization of the broad pool of qualified vendors. We want to make sure that we are attracting, recruiting, hiring, promoting, developing, and retaining a broad pool of qualified employees. And we want to make sure that we're assessing and evaluating our programs and policies to make sure that all pertinent are benefiting from those programs, that there's not a disparate burden on anyone. Through that, we're looking to continue our training. We're in the midst of doing our management training, which is for newly hired managers and supervisors and leaders. We will complete that next week. We'll roll into March with our What's Next kickoff, where we'll look at highlighting the work that the county departments and agencies have done in 2024 and what they're planning to do in 2025. And then in April, we are looking to do our all-staff DEI training, which is for newly hired employees. Our goal this year, as a meeting that we had in November with the chief of staff, was to offer it more than once a year. So we're looking at offering those sets of trainings every 6 months. So the management training that we're providing now will be offered in 6 months to any newly promoted supervisors and managers and leaders within that time period. And similarly, we will be offering the all-staff training in 6 months from April, so in October. So again, we have a 6-month rotation that allows for any new employees to be able to take advantage of that training. Also, I wanted to allow Awata Fasad, who's the enterprise risk manager, she's here on behalf of the law director, and she wants to provide an announcement about a program they're
Yep.
doing.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll just, Good morning, everyone. The law department continues to collaborate with our local partners, the law schools, affinity bar associations, and other community partners to advance equity and inclusion consistent with our strategic plan. We are planning a economic inclusion panel discussion, and here you have the panelist, and the moderator is Jenny Hamill from the host of IdeaStream, and we're collaborating with the CSU Law Alumni Association and the Law School. It will be held on March 26, 2025. The time is 1 to 2 for the panel networker. It's at the noon hour, and the program is free. It will be held at the CSU Law School, and this panel will discuss the economic and legal challenges Northeast Ohio faces and the steps necessary to achieve full economic inclusion and opportunity for everyone. The program will discuss the implications of the ever-evolving presidential executive orders on DEI policies and programs. We will also, hopefully the program will serve as a catalyst for community engagement to tackle the challenges facing Northeast Ohio and in multiple spaces, including the law legal profession, and all are welcome to attend.
And that completes our opening
Question.
remarks.
Great. Is there something?
Will it be live streamed?
It will be recorded.
Are there questions for Lenore or Watef? Or questions, I should say. All right, so we're going to move forward now to the College Now Mentoring Program presentation.
I think it was Penn, yes, yes.
Or do we
No,
want to
no,
go out of
you're
order?
right.
Do
No,
we want to
you're
do?
correct. No, you're correct. I'm
Okay. Well, first, let me pause. Are you okay to stay through the hour, or do you have to get to anywhere? I know it's been a rough morning out there with the weather.
sorry.
All right. So then let's go with the College Now presentation.
My apologies.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
Okay, well, good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for hosting me this morning. Special thanks to Lenora and your team for reaching out and inviting us, and also special thanks to Sarah. We're so excited about the Mentor Matters campaign, and I'm excited to share a little more about our program here with you all today. So I'm going to keep this rather brief. And as my PowerPoint comes up, I do want to just thank you all for the work that you're doing. It's quite humbling for me this morning to hear all of the different initiatives and the different ways that you all are advancing this work in the county. So thank you for keeping this all going, and thanks for everything that you do. But I'm here today to talk about another way to get involved, since you're not already doing enough, right? But the College Now Mentoring Program is a function of College Now. We're a local organization, a nonprofit. Our mission is to help folks connect to post-secondary pathways. So that's college, but can also be career. We have a lot of staff in various school buildings, community centers, college campuses, providing free counseling for folks around that post-secondary conversation and helping people make a plan. We want people to know their options. It's one thing to make the plan, but it's another thing to pay for it, right? So we also provide scholarship support to a select group of folks. We disperse several millions of dollars a year to local students to pursue post-secondary. And then in addition to those different aspects of the work, if you receive a scholarship with College Now, you will also receive a mentor with College Now, and that's why I'm here today to speak with you all about the opportunity to mentor within our program and be part of the change that we're making for students. College Now sees our mission both to serve our individual clients and also to improve our wider community, and it sounds like we're very much in alignment with the county on that point as well. But no, by participating, you are helping one student, but having that wider impact as well. As we move forward with the presentation here, brief as it is, important note is college is a very important facet of our society. It's a very important social driver, economic driver for folks, right? That graph on the left shows average earnings over the years if you have an advanced degree versus a graduate degree versus a high school diploma. So you see there widespread, right? In just getting that first level of post-secondary. What's not shown on the graph and what's not captured by just dollars is, think about all the opportunities that are available when you do have that 2 or 4 year degree. Lots of different careers open up for you, career pathways. Certainly, many of the jobs that provide flexibility, healthcare, things of that nature, a clear pathway for advancement. A lot of those things do require a 2 or 4 year degree or some kind of post-secondary certification. So again, opening up those pathways for our students. Also not on this graph, though, are other things that result from higher education rates, both for individuals and for the community. People who have a college degree are more likely to vote. They're more likely to volunteer and be civically engaged. They're also much more likely to live longer and healthier lives, and the list goes on and on. But probably most compelling for College Now is if you have a college degree, 2 or 4 year, your own children are more than twice as likely to complete their 2 or 4 year certification and also see some of these benefits. So again, as we're helping our individual clients right now, we're seeing that impact really accelerate throughout the community and even throughout time. The graph there on the right, though, illustrates one of the kind of aspects, the problematic aspects that we see working in this space, and that's, not everyone is successful. Of the students that are able to access college, we see varying success rates and varying graduation rates. And you'll notice there that this graph is portraying graduation completion rates for students based on race ethnicity. We can also show similar graphs based on first-generation college status. So if anyone in the room was a first-generation college student, if you were first in your family to go to college, you were only about half as likely to graduate as your peers who were continuing generation. So again, college now exists to help kind of bridge some of these gaps for people and make sure that even though we, are putting people in the situations where they have the opportunity, that they're able to actually be successful in that opportunity. So around this work, College Now and the county actually partnered with some other groups in Cleveland to bring Say Yes Cleveland to the community in 2019. And Say Yes is a very unique approach in that it seeks to help support students all the way through school, from kindergarten all the way through, so that as they are progressing through school, they have resources and they have supports available so students can concentrate on being students, and then are that much more likely to walk across the high school graduation stage, and then that much more likely to walk into a college classroom. And at the end of that walk into the college classroom, College Now and Say Yes have partnered to ensure that Say Yes students will have a college scholarship. So the kind of the contract that we're making with the community is that we will be there to help students, CMSD students, all the way through their journey, and then we'll also be there to help as they move through college. And that's with dollars and also with the mentoring program as well. So again, thank you to all of you in the room here today representing the county. You were integral in this work and bringing Say Yes into the Cleveland community. So I wanted to share some statistics with you as well, specific to our program at College Now. If you are a student entering college today from any income background, any background at all, at any way you slice and dice it, only 62% of students who enter college are going to graduate in 6 years with a 4-year degree. So even building in a little extra time. So that's roughly half of our students that are getting into college. If you look at students receiving the Pell Grant, and this is federal aid specific for low-income students, only 45% of students are going to graduate on time. So again, that's even just looking at folks that made it through that door and walked into the college classroom to begin with. In our program, our students are predominantly Pell eligible. About 99% do receive the Pell. 71% of our students graduate on time. So we're seeing real benefits and real impact by pairing that extra scholarship support that we provide through College Now or Say Yes, and also by providing that mentor. The idea of having someone to help kind of break down the bureaucracy and help people navigate a system that might be unfamiliar. That's exactly what we're doing here with mentoring. So on that point, if you reflect briefly on your own college experience or post-secondary experience, if you think back to the different challenges that you faced, and also the different opportunities that you had, right? Probably a lot of things are going to pop up for you. And I love this picture. It might be harder for you all to see, but this is one of our students at an event a few years back. We asked students to brainstorm things they want to accomplish before they graduate, and she wrote all kinds of great things like study abroad and I get on the dean's list and learn ASL and just all these different opportunities. That's really the essence of college, right? So as you're joining or thinking about joining this program, it is helping students navigate the challenges and navigate the bureaucracy, but it's also helping them take that extra step and really get the most out of their experience as well and position themselves in a way that they can really be successful as they're taking that next step into their postgraduate space. As they are navigating college, though, lots of questions about financial aid, academics. College Now is here to help you navigate those conversations. So if you're hearing this thinking, oh no, I'm not really sure how I would help a student grapple with some of those questions, we have great support for you. And we walk you through with a curriculum, with staff support, with staff trainings on how to best serve your student in those areas. And then that middle point there, social and emotional support, is really the thing we hear most from students that they value about the program, is just having someone to call to say, hey, I actually got a 3.0 this semester, even though I was working, 30 hours a week and going to class, and having someone who can really understand and really validate that accomplishment for them. Same with just having someone who can bounce ideas off of in terms of how to cope with a challenge or something coming up for them in their life. So in terms of the structure of our program, we're pretty large. We are currently serving 1,700 students at the moment. We've stayed relatively stable at that number post-COVID, but we're hoping to start growing again very soon. And then, as mentioned, as mentors and students enter the program, staff are very involved. So we do have a very supportive program in which we help with matching. We match mentor and student one-on-one. We also help with a curriculum to keep you on that schedule of messaging. We ask mentor-student pairs to message twice per month, essentially sending an email. And again, we provide you a lot of talking points if you'd like to use those. And then we also ask for meetings 3 times per year. We host a lot of events. We also promote a lot of virtual meetings, and we see pairs do their own thing as well, and that's all totally fine. We're pretty flexible as a program. We do just ask that mentors and students work together through the course of a student's career in college. So just as College Now steps forward with our funding for the duration, we ask mentors to also step forward with their commitment as well. So just understand it's very low commitment day to day, but we do want you to maintain your involvement with that student and watch them grow and be there for them in a reliable way through that course of college. So I talked before about our commitment to our individuals, but also how that rolls up into our regional impacts. But again, 71% of our students graduate on time, which is returning a lot of graduates back into the community, right? And helping them to be successful here in the Cleveland area. For mentors, if you're thinking about this, great if you are interested to pay it forward. And I know many of our mentors are motivated by that, but please also know it's a great way to improve your own skills if you are thinking about taking that next step in your career, if you're a younger professional, maybe walking into more of a management role or pursuing situations in the workplace where you would need to have those coaching conversations. We're going to give you some hands-on experience with that and also a lot of support on how to approach those types of conversations. It's also great networking. We have 1,700 students. We have about 2,000 mentors in the program right now, and they're mostly very local. So it's, again, a great way to meet other people with similar interests and similar commitment to our community. And that picture popped up. Okay, this is not my normal slide deck. And I did want to also give you a chance to read quickly a couple quotes from mentors, but do we have any current mentors in the room that would want to be brave souls and say a few words? Is there anyone with us today?
Nope. Sorry. We'll
Not
try.
yet.
We'll try harder.
Not yet? Okay,
Yeah,
not yet. I
yeah.
like that. Not yet, but next year we'll have some. Yes, you can see from the quotes, mentors also do get a lot out of the program as well. Quotes from students, though, also important to highlight here, and we'll spend a quick minute here. We ask students all the time on surveys, on focus groups, what is useful to you? How can we improve? But students, again, their feedback ranges. Devlin here is commenting on that personal kind of input his mentor had. He and his mentor were connected first during COVID. And so, reflecting back on those times and just how important the mentor was to help Devlin understand that, things take time and that's okay. And to kind of reevaluate his own kind of balance there with school and life and whatnot. On the professional side, there's Rose's quote who talks about how amazing her mentor has been in connecting her into opportunities. It really will depend what your student is looking for from you. We do ask mentors to be flexible with what students are looking for and also give them some pushes sometimes, but to be flexible from what students are looking for and understand if that relationship will be more personal or more professional. But regardless, students really do benefit from this experience. I'd encourage you all to think about doing 2 different things today. First is, as Sarah mentioned, there's a new campaign through the county called Mentor Matters. Please consider partnering with College Now and True to You. I'll plug my colleagues at True to You as well. I know True to You also would be willing to do this, but College Now is willing to come into any meeting, staff meeting, department meeting, any kind of gathering and speak a little bit. We can even be briefer than I'm being about this opportunity or answer questions. We're happy to table. We're happy to just be involved in however you feel would be helpful. So please, if we can come back to your department, we would love to do that. I'm going to put my information in the chat, and I know Lenora can also connect if the chat isn't helpful. Sorry to put you on the spot, Lenora. And Sarah as well. So that's my first request. The second is please consider applying to mentor. We need mentors every year. This is a growing, hopefully, program. And as you all referenced as well, this is a really difficult time to be a college student with all the uncertainty and then layering on the uncertainty of entering a college system and with all the changes happening right now in higher education. So any support we can give our students is really important, especially in this moment. So you all, I know, are very focused in on this work and have a great grounding for just what students might need or questions they might have or what might arise. So please consider personally applying with us. And inviting others to do so as well. Again, just need a 2 or 4 year degree to mentor with us, and we are happy to answer questions. On that note, I have a QR code on the screen, so that is a way to sign up for information. If you're not signing up for the program yet, don't worry, you're just signing up to get on our listserv, essentially to get some more information from us, and certainly open that conversation if you have questions and that. On that note, though, does anyone have questions? And I'm gonna go ahead and put my information. I'm not Nikki. You all got a little cheated this morning because normally this would be Nikki or Kenise doing the presentation, but we were triple booked, so you got me instead. I apologize. This is not as polished as probably they would be.
So I want to open it up. Does anybody have questions? I have a few questions, but I want to see if others want to go first.
Absolutely.
So just first, thank you for the presentation and for doing this work. It is very important. Can you just share a little bit about what you do, what College Now does also as part of the mentoring process? I have some professional experience with coaching and just want to understand what you provide to the mentees on top of what you get from a mentor stepping forward to engage.
Yeah, thanks for that question. It is a multi-layered approach, and we didn't have a ton of time this morning, but so I glossed this over. But staff is also very involved in this process, both for the mentor volunteers and also the students. So we provide a training onboarding system for mentors. We also provide training for students as they enter the program. We do have a pretty robust support system as you start to engage in terms of what you're talking about and event opportunities, other resources. But we do take that communication piece pretty seriously on staff. So we do try to check in. We have staff people that follow you through with your student, just like you're following a student, we're following you and your student all the way through college. So you will get to know your cohort coordinator pretty well. And we do a lot of different things from, hosting larger events and larger trainings with mentors to, just having one-on-one conversations with folks in terms of, workshopping. Oh, I have to have this coaching conversation with my student. How should I approach this? Or I was thinking about saying this or that. What do you think? We'll even role play with mentors sometimes, just trying to help people feel really comfortable and confident. And we always appreciate when mentors do ask us for that input or help, or just that extra brain power. 2 heads are better than one. So at the outset, we provide some training, and then as you go and proceed through the program, there are optional training opportunities, but really it's that first training that is really crucial. And then it's how you would like to engage with us after that point. I don't know if that really got into what you were asking, though,
No,
David.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of, so some of my experience, we've been implementing a program to help Ohio National Guards members get into college, stay into college, and complete college. And I think what the model that we've replicated is from a national nonprofit that uses a lot of nudge techniques of staying engaged with their students. And I know they've found, even in that motivated, very disciplined population, the need to maintain engagement. And so that's some of what I think I'm listening for. It does not seem like it's a high threshold of engagement on your part. So I think what I'm hearing is you're also engaging the individual, checking in with them, seeing what other support they need. And so I think that's behind my question.
Yes, and we set up our system to be almost that, on staff, we would have to have so many different folks committed to this work in order to build the personal relationships one-on-one with students that mentors are able to build as volunteers. So essentially, you all are our early warning system.
Okay.
You're the buoys out in the ocean, and you will go off. So you're much more likely to call us and say, "Hey, my student told me X," or like, please check in with my student. I think something's up." And we're able to then step in and do a lot of that work. The mentoring platform we use also, again, surveys and those types of tools, but it's also able to flag different things for us more quickly. So we can be proactive if a student is thinking about, dropping out of school or has a balance, or, other things are coming up in their personal life that could really affect them. We often do make referrals for students who are losing their housing, for example, or who are food insecure. So we're able to be very proactive and granular without, kind of getting too big to really function. And we do that through leveraging you all as volunteers, which we're just so grateful to all of our volunteers that are out there. And I hope you all consider joining as well.
A final quick question. I know we're short on time, but is there the ability to match based on special experience? I think what I'm thinking about, I've had a number of staff in the Division of Children and Family Services approach me and say, hey, I aged out of the system. I was one of the kids who lived in the back childcare room, and I was not adoptable. In essence, I walked out the door at 18, decided to go to college and made it through. I have a BA, I work here now. And I think a lot of them are looking for opportunities to give back. I also understand that if there's a youth that's is looking for a mentor and has a child welfare background, they may not want to disclose that to someone outside, I don't know, the industry. And so are you able to look at, or do you have information on when a CMSD or a student is involved in DCFS, and there needs to be some special consideration and confidentiality so that you could connect them to someone who's also in that system?
Yeah, so that is something we have incorporated on a voluntary basis. We do ask students if they would like to let us know, and we preface it with, hey, this is to help us better match and support you. One of the questions in that section is, were you or have you ever been involved in the foster care system?
Right.
We also ask mentors that as well, again, on a voluntary basis. So if they self-disclose, we're able to do that. We're actually working right now with CMSD on incorporating more of that data that they have into our system, not our mentoring platform, but our other student data system. So we're working on that piece first, and then we'll be looking at how to incorporate better. But to your point, David, that is a little bit of we do want to make sure that we're maintaining that confidentiality, but also realizing that those are populations that do have specific concerns and things that we could be aware of. And also in the higher ed space, specific resources in some cases that we can direct them to. So, we are trying to walk that line of how much information to ask and what's comfortable, especially these days. What are we asking? How are we portraying why we're asking it? And are we giving people off ramps if they don't want to disclose? But if they are, we can then use that information better. So the matching does incorporate a more holistic view of people. So we're not just saying, oh, you went to Ohio State, this student's going to Ohio State. There's always more to it than that. We also do interviews with mentor candidates to make sure that we're all on the same page and this is a good fit, but also to kind of glean a little more information than we're just going to get on a checkbox kind of application. So that's a space where we also open up those conversations too.
Good to hear. Anybody have any other questions?
I just wondered if you could quickly go through the cycle for the mentoring, like when you apply, and then what's the timetable?
Yes. So we are actually transitioning into more of a year-round cycle, Lenora, but it will always be the case. We have a large number of freshmen enter the program consistently the summer after their high school graduation. So, right now is a great time to apply because you will have ample time to get through the process. We do ask again for that phone interview. I mentioned there's also an orientation and a background check. So we want you to have time to get through those steps in advance of summer. But in the summer, from June through about August, we will make a lot of hundreds of matches with our incoming freshmen and mentors. But then throughout the rest of the year, we also do see students, especially now with the Say Yes scholarship. It is a more flexible model, which is awesome. But then we will see students that take time off, step away, come back, and will then want to re-enter the program. We see students that had dropped down to part-time that are coming back. So we see a whole lot of different movement. and have need of people really all throughout the year to receive matches. So there's really no bad time to sign up, but now is probably one of the best times, just in the sense that the summer is going to be quite a busy matching cycle for us. But as you sign up, it is a self-paced onboarding. So you will tell us when you want the phone interview and we'll call you. You can do the orientation as you'd like. We do host different events with new applicants throughout, but you can come at your own time, at your own speed. It's designed now to be much more of a sort of self-select process.
Any other questions? Madeline, thank you for your presentation. I think if anybody has follow-up, the presentation includes contact information. We'd encourage you that. We're going to move forward with the agenda. I know we have one more presentation. We want to be able to give them time. Madeline, you're welcome to stay on with us or drop, whatever you got to do.
All right, thank you
Okay,
very
thank
much.
you so much. I appreciate your time, and thank you again, Lenora and Sarah, for your work with us.
got it.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Madeline.
it.
All right, so with that, we're going to move to the Penn Will Group and the presentation.
Awesome.
So before you start, let me kind of kick this off. First of all, it is my honor and pleasure to introduce the Penn Will Group. If you remember, last year, I started a series of having our capital partners come and speak to us. A year ago this time, it was Village Capital Corporation, then it was the Minority Business Assistance Center, then it was Grow America, and in November, we wrapped it up with Jumpstart. So this continues this series of having our capital partners speak to us about what their plans are with county resources, how they support small businesses, minority-owned businesses, women-owned businesses. And as the newest capital partner, they probably don't have the history of some of the other ones that's been doing it for 20 years or what have you, but they have a unique program that they're going to share. And if you don't know Erica Pinnock and Felicia Townsend, you will. And you may, if you know them, then you know Erica is the former president of the President's Council, which is the African American Chamber of Commerce. Erica, through Kirtland Consulting, worked with the Department of Development on our 5-year economic development plan. She also runs a nonprofit and a host of other things. And Felicia Townsend has been working with small businesses. Felicia, I don't want to say too many years, but I'll just say 20 plus years, and also was the former director of the SBDC, Small Business Development Center at the Urban League of Greater Cleveland. And their combined experiences, 30 plus 20? Okay, but they know what they're doing, and they're going to talk to us about their program and how they're going to continue to support small businesses and also assist in supporting the county's Office of Small Business. Erica?
Wonderful. I'm just waiting on the presentation, you let me know. Perfect. So again, thank you all for having us today. We appreciate the invitation to present this information to the committee. Again, my name is Erica Pinnock, and I am the president and founder of Penn Will Group. And this is Felicia Townsend, and she is a senior consultant with Penn Will Group, but also independently owns a business, Ivy Tower. Penn Will Group has a long-standing, progressive, and productive relationship with the county. As Vaughn mentioned, we participated in 2025 this year as part of the Department of Economic Development Strategic Plan. In 2023, both Felicia and I were part of the Stimulus Small Business Grant in the development as well as implementation and awards of dollars. And now we are a capital partner with the Office of Small Business. Penn Will Group is uniquely positioned as a capital partner in that we are tasked in 3 areas. The first is technical assistance, where we provide a comprehensive support in business development, financial management, and business certifications, which includes minority, women, veterans, small business, OMSDC, and EDGE certification. We are also working on projects, which includes pipeline development. And that means that we are cultivating strong network of relationship partners. And we're doing more than connecting to referrals, we're connecting to individuals where we have established relationships. And thirdly, we are working in an administrative capacity. We are providing coordinated support with the Office of Small Business to automate processes for increased efficiency and enabling us to prioritize direct, tangible, right now solutions at the speed of business. As a new capital partner, I wanted to share the outcomes of one of the clients we've served. This particular client wanted to maximize and stabilize her property occupancy. This is a Black female who resides in the Heights suburbs. They own 7 multi-unit properties. Pinwheel Group was able to recommend exploring unconventional occupancy strategies, including formerly incarcerated people, recovering individuals, and reunited families, as well as other unconventional ways. We reached out to connections at 2 established, well-recognized organizations and met with them on the client's behalf to present the client's goals. We were also able to identify incentives that those organizations were willing to provide as part of this formal housing partner recommendation that we made. Both of those organizations were extremely receptive to our recommendations, and now that particular client is partnered with those four organizations in being able to match their clients with these housing opportunities where they didn't before exist. We expect, as a new service provider, having only joined as a capital partner in January, to be able to serve up to 144 clients during 2025. Again, since starting as a capital partner in January, we've served 10 businesses. Of those businesses, 40% are female and 100% of those are persons of color. As Vaughn mentioned, Felicia and I have had several decades of experience in working with minority and women and small-owned businesses. I will speak for myself. Felicia can speak for herself. I have been unwavering and unapologetic in my work throughout the course of my professional career in championing equity, inclusion, and transparency. That doesn't stop because of new administration, and we are proud partners of the Office of Small Business. And again, we thank you and welcome your questions.
I echo what Erica has said, and I was so elated to hear your commitment, the county's commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion. So it's been so many disparaging things that have happened over the last couple of weeks, so it was refreshing to know that the county will be backing us to continue to make strides in the equity and inclusion area.
I'm gonna open it up. I have a couple questions. Are there questions from the commission? Recently, I was able to attend a public meeting on the opening of a seasonal shelter. And it was approached by some residents, and they asked about how Greater Cleveland embraces multifamily housing. It seemed to be this theme about where group homes or where properties, to some extent, as you described, are being located and how they're being supported. And so, you know, for me, as someone who grew up in Cleveland and chooses to live in Cleveland, I understand placement of a supported housing unit can be very sensitive. There can be a lot of community feedback, sometimes opposition, and balanced with support. So I'm just curious how you approach that issue, and if you provide advice to small businesses looking to start a real estate entity or start or expand to a new unit, a new home, and you know, kind of what advice you would give to them in terms of engaging the community and their neighbors.
I can speak to this particular instance that we work with, but in general, I think it's important that that the developer, the property owner, has buy-in from city council, other community leaders,
Yep.
and that they engage directly with the community to say, this is who we are, this is the work that we're doing, and this is why we're doing that work. And I believe that once that sort of communication is established, then the residents will feel much more comfortable in having those particular settings in their neighborhoods. I also think it's important that sometimes, in general, we can have an idea of what the community might think, but you would be very surprised to recognize that there are a lot of people in that community who have experienced that same sort of lifestyle and who aren't as opposed as you might think. But also to your point, it is important where these units are located. Geography matters because when you are coming out of certain experiences, changing your environment, changing the people with whom you engage is extremely important. And so for us as advisors to be able to engage with developers to say, will you allow this population of people to occupy houses that may be located in Strongsville, in Berea, in North Royalton? Communities, East Cleveland and Cleveland proper are saturated, but that might not be the best geography for someone who wants to move away from those types of situations.
I agree. I think in that instance, there was concern about the opening of a seasonal shelter. This was being led by a religious institution in the community where the pastor was from the community. But I think at the same time, there just wasn't a lot of familiarity with kind of the operation of a seasonal shelter. But as it got open and we went through a public meeting process, the community began to recognize this was not a situation, this is a service for them, it's for us. And there were individuals living in their community, living in abandoned houses, living in substandard conditions that started to go to the seasonal shelter where they could find help. And I think it really changed from how a view of something coming in, bringing a population to coming in, kind of better serving their community. So I appreciate the work you're doing, and I know how difficult that community conversation can be in all the layers, and I encourage you to stay on it and keep with it.
Absolutely.
Just to add a little bit to what Erica said, I know I tell my clients that are doing housing of that nature, it's also important to have stringent policies and procedures in place, and to have those policies for the tenants, and they have to adhere to it, because the last thing they want is for their property to be labeled a nuisance property. So we work with them ahead of time to put those policies in place so they can stay out of that lane. But as Erica said, the number one step is talking to your political, the council persons,
Yep.
your economic developer, because then they can steer them to properties where this is gonna be a little more okay and acceptable by the community. But other than that, policy,
That's right.
procedures, they gotta have it together.
Agree. Are there any other questions? I might follow up with you after the meeting, just on some other questions. I know time is short here. Any other final remarks on the presentation, either of the presentations?
I just wanted to say, I really liked the example, and it was a unique example, but I see how it directly related to that business owner's need. So I thought that was great, that they can get not just a stock off the shelf, that they can get something that specifically spoke to their business. And so I thought that was great.
That's great. So we're going to move to closing remarks before we adjourn. I think I started to my left. We'll start to my right now. So I'll just start at the end of the table. Katie or Watsef, anything to share?
Thank you for joining us today. Fabulous.
Lenore?
No, just looking forward to 2025.
Sarah?
Same, looking forward to 2025 and appreciate our guest time today and hope everybody has a good Thursday.
Paul?
If listening to Erica and Felicia has sparked any thoughts, there's no wrong door. Office of Small Business is open for business. Here's the leader. And if you have a friend or someone in your network that needs that kind of help, let us know.
Vaughn?
Yeah, I'm just continue to be encouraged. I think I look forward to 2025, and I'm looking forward to having Pinwheel come back maybe a year from now and talk to us this time about the outcomes on those hundreds of businesses or 100+ businesses that they're going to be working with.
Jill?
Yeah, same, echo everybody's comments about working through 2025, and thank you both for your time this morning.
Well, I just would say in closing, I know that it can be seen as a very tough time, but what I just would recognize is the snow will end, it will get warmer, and before you know it, it'll be spring. And, seasons come, seasons go, and at the end of the day, we all move forward. So thank you for doing the work you do, whatever that job is, it's important, you're meaningful, and I appreciate you taking some time to be here with us today. So unless there's unless there's other comments, can I get a motion to adjourn the meeting? Second,
Second.
the meeting's adjourned. Thank you.
No one's keeping you working.
I will. Or guys as well. How are you?